Welcome to my channel. This is going to be a new moon in Leo general collective reading. Let's see what comes up. We're going to be using the Good Tarot and first off, along with the Queen of the Moon Oracle, and just to see what's coming up, really, just to see what the energy is going to be bringing in for everyone, the energies that is being released, and what we can expect to see. So if you've just joined us, thank you so much for watching. This is going to be a general collective live reading, new moon in Leo. And if you're watching later, fast forward onto the 5-minute mark. That's probably going to be when the reading starts. Hopefully you're doing very well. Hopefully you're all looking after yourselves. It's a very wet and rainy day in the UK here. Yeah. What have you been up to? Everyone okay? How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? So yeah, we're going to be looking at the new moon energy, what it's going to be releasing, what's going to be coming in. Okay, so we've got the new moon in Leo. I was watching the Leo King earlier, and he was talking about this new moon. Whatever was going on for you on the 19th of August in 2017 is going to be replicated today. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Mine was accurate. Mine was actually accurate. Because we're getting rid of some old energy here over in this place, and we're getting ready for new energy. This is what I'm personally doing. Thank you so much for your like. I appreciate you. So yeah, if you want to have an idea what this new moon is going to be bringing in, like I said, Leo King suggesting to look at what happened to you on the 19th of August 2017. Hi Jen, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for your like, whoever that was. For the rest of you that are joining us, we're just going to wait for a few more people to come in. And like I said, we're going to be looking at the energies that this new moon is going to bring, what it's going to be releasing, what we can expect to see coming up. Oh, someone's come in and then come out again. So probably, I think I know what energy that was. So yeah. So let's have a look. Let's jump into the Queen of the Moon Oracle. I'm just hearing recognizing your worth. This is ironic. This is what I've been dealing with today. How do I put this in the collective term rather than specifics? You're going to be confronted with energies that are probably not going to be. Some will be in alignment with you, and some won't. The ones that are not in alignment with you, how are you handling those? And look at what's been kind of lingering around you with these energies. I'll give you an example. Self-worth is a big one. Boundaries, 1000% boundaries. What are you getting in exchange? Is there a balance? Okay. And also looking at the good in the situation. Like it's really interesting because I was speaking to someone earlier, and yeah, they were the way they were kind of discussing that, they were kind of talking about narcissism. And it was like this person was very quick. In fact, they're probably watching because I did put them onto the stream. They were very quick to label, and we're moving out of that. That's a very three-dimensional concept when we're sitting sort of labeling things. I'll message them later and be like, by the way, if you watch a straight live stream later, I'm using you as an example. We've got beauty here. So this is acknowledging your own needs, your own wants, your own wishes. Yeah, it's a kind of doing away with the concept of what people think they should have. It's like what people think you should be doing, or what people think you should have, or what people think you should be thinking. Hi T Nina. Where is your growth? What about what you need, if that makes any sense? Doing away with concepts that are just, again, it's like we seem to have got into this routine where everyone is like, oh, that's a narcissist, so you know, that's the bad guy. And it's like, brilliant, but what about you? You know what I mean? It just seems to be a really, really regular concept that I'm dealing with a lot with people, where they just kind of disregard someone as a narcissist, and then that's it. They don't need to learn anything because that was the narcissist. But I feel like Spirit is kind of saying to you, what is the lesson in this? Hi T Nina, I hope you're doing well. And to see the beauty in it, see the beauty in the lesson. Okay, bottom of the deck, abundance. It's like we're clearing away here what we need to clear away. Let's have a look. What else is coming into this new moon, please, Spirit? Oh my goodness, this is what we need. Oh my goodness, if ever there was a manifestation that's coming through, it's this. This is a completion. This is a cycle. If you have recently closed the door with something, well done. Hello, Astral Messenger. Hello, I keep calling you Astral Messenger. Hi, Mark. If you've recently closed something, well done. Because I feel like it was a big thing. I know for me it was. And it wasn't food. And just reference it, Arby, if you Arby, if you're interested. This was my food earlier, all right? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Peace. This is a closure of a cycle here. That there's something here that's being closed out. What is it that is not honoring you, and what is it you're something's not being asked to be closed out? And if you haven't already done it, I would have a look into that. Hey, Karen, hope you're doing well. And again, bottom of the deck, acceptance. If this is something, don't force it. That's what the guys are saying. Don't force this. So if something isn't for you, then don't force it. Let the person learn in their own time. Yes, Karen, I'm doing very well, actually. Thank you for asking. I feel I've made some good movements today and made some good decisions, I feel, and so I'm looking forward to this new moon. I feel like there's actually, I can see the wood through the trees. Now, I don't know about you, but how is everyone feeling with these kind of 5 planets in retrograde? So for me, I'll be honest with you, these 5 planets that are in retrograde are actually my planets in my natal chart that are in retrograde. And for me, I feel like I'm actually getting somewhere. Whereas before, I felt like I was like treading water. I feel like I'm actually getting somewhere and I'm getting clear. Like my meditations, I'm getting absolutely awesome insights in. And before, it was like treading through quicksand. You know what I mean? And I feel like I can see what is the deal. Whereas before, I was just going on faith. You know what I mean? It just feels like a relief. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still sleeping a lot. Like, I'm still sleeping a lot, but I feel like I'm just, my body's getting ready for the next stage. Like, this is the end of a cycle here. We're moving into something new. This is peace of mind. I know at this stage, if there's nothing else that comes from the situations I've closed today, I'm happy. Because I know I've done what I needed to do. You know, that's all you can do. And I feel like there's, I mean, this is dreams as well. I feel like we're being guided in our dreams. And it's really weird, actually, because I did have some very insane dreams last night. I dreamt of me on an aeroplane. When I say on an aeroplane, I wasn't in the aeroplane. I was on the aeroplane. And it was a job. I was doing a job where I had to hold on. And the test is that if I don't let go, I'm passed. So, of course, I held on. And then I got to the end and I woke up and I was like, okay, I get it. I get it. Just let go, Jale, let go. So I let go. So I feel so much better. So I was like, thanks, guys. Because honestly, if I didn't have that dream, I probably would have not got that message. It's like a lot of distraction keeps its distance. Yeah, it's easier to get rid of the distractions, isn't it? In my opinion, I'm in a total agreement. It's easier to align yourself with the right things, in my opinion. A lot easier. This is an end of a cycle, I feel. This is definitely an end of a cycle. I just keep hearing clearing the dead wood. So for people that don't want to acknowledge things and want to kind of, again, I feel like it's that blame game. It's like, oh, I'm just going to blame this situation and that's why things aren't moving forward. But for those that are actually looking at this in the cold light of day and being like, okay, this is what I need to do, that, and you're closing and making moves, this is the energy of relief because you know you've done everything. What do you mean by bubble? Because I definitely don't. For the people I've been speaking to today, the bubble for them has definitely not popped. It's people are being led by their dreams as well. And like I said, I woke up and I was like, okay, I get it. Know what I need to do. There's a growth as well that for some, it's not going to get to a point where it can materialize. And so it's about releasing that stuckness. I mean, my guides are kind of just saying there's a heck of a long way to go. I don't know if there's more to come. I don't know. They're just saying there's more to come. If you feel like you're unstuck, that's brilliant. But I feel like there's more to come. So I don't think it's as easy as that. Put it that way. Action. Yeah. Look, I mean, this is total exactly what I'm saying. This is about action. This is about hearing the call and taking the action. Like, for example, because I know the next couple of months are going to be you know, there's a mobilization of energy. I'm removing out the sound. See, this is the thing. I know it's going to sound really cold, but I'm removing absolutely everything that doesn't have my best interests and or is still in that kind of mindset of that doesn't really get what's happened or what's going on or doesn't really want to get it, you know. And it's like they're just saying, they're talking about peace of mind, peace in all areas. This is peace of mind. Because this is the thing, and I even, you know, it's interesting because I even put this in a message today, and I put, even if X, Y, and Z, I know in my heart of hearts that I've given my honest truth, and now I can sleep peacefully at night. You know, it's that kind of thing. It's that peace. It's knowing that you've done everything you can. It's knowing that you've said what needed to be said, or you've done things that you know that needed to happen, that absolutely needed to be said or needed to be taken place or needed to be carried out. You've done that. You've taken that action. And this is the thing. I mean, look how graceful this energy is as well. You know, this is peace. This is harmonizing whatever it is you're doing. So now if you're not in that energy yet, just keep an eye out for the next couple of days, because it might feel that you're getting a push to do something. But this is about clearing the way for, I mean, look, this is new energy. This is new energy. The end of a cycle. This is an end of a cycle. Whether or not you can see it at the moment or not. And can you see here, nourishment? If something wasn't serving, there's a release. If you feel like things aren't moving, could be that there's a blessing in that, because it might not be the thing that is needed for you at the moment. Something's being birthed here, but you've got to, this first part is about releasing. The actual manifestation of what you're birthing is not going to be present. It's not going to be obvious just yet, but it's definitely there. But at the moment, in the now, what you're doing is you're releasing certain things, ideas, people, situations, thoughts. But it's like you're releasing it now, not knowing what's actually going to come in its place. Possibly. Maybe some of you do, but I would say the majority probably don't. This is the dream state. You're being prepared in the dream state. If your sleep, especially if your sleep routine is differing, you are being prepped in your sleep here. And be very mindful of when you're waking up, what your thoughts are in your first initial thoughts when you wake up, because bottom of the deck, growth. Like, how do I want to explain this? It's like, I don't know. They're just talking about trepidation. But this is the thing. It's based on the decisions that we were referring to in the last live. It's staying in the status quo, and the status quo is not good for you. It's pretending that everything's okay and hoping that it just moves along nicely. It's denial. It's not saying things. It's not honoring your heart center, or things that were being held back for certain reasons, or spoken, or whatever. It feels like that's being encouraged to be sort of spoken about or acted upon, if that makes sense. It's you having inner peace based on the fact that you're in alignment with your truth. Your truth. This is about your truth. So if you're referring to unhealthy stuff about, you know, being in denial about how you really feel and sitting in a status quo environment, and not really doing anything about it and hoping that something changes and then that will then change, then, you know, everyone's going to be different. But it's about taking action about something that is interfering with your peace. That is the main energy. And so that you're enriching and nourishing yourself, as opposed to maybe not saying anything and then allowing another to be enriched or nourished. So however that applies to you. Now, for me, I was just like, this is what I think. I don't care if you're going to ignore me for 2 years. This is my truth. This is what I think. I don't know what you want to do about this. In fact, it's not my business what you want to do about this, but this is my truth. Bye. That's essentially what I did. And actually, I'm like, yeah, this feels good. This feels really good. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot easier, because it means now that I don't have to worry about that. That's not my issue now, is it? I've said what I needed to say. Everything that I needed to say has been said and it's done. So I'm happy. The action was taken. Things are at peace. Closure of a cycle. We don't need to worry about this anymore. Whatever happens after that is really none of my concern, you know. I've said what I needed to say. Hey, Joanna, I hope you're doing well. Why? What unhealthy things are you releasing, Jen? But yeah, look, blossoming. When all is said and done, you're releasing things that are not going to be able to grow. You are recognizing things that have no growth element, and you're releasing them. You're taking action and you're releasing them. I'm just hearing the power of one. It's very interesting that they're saying that, to be honest with you. There's something very powerful that's being birthed here. It's releasing the need to be everything that is expected of anyone. It's releasing all of that. Yeah, just sort of being in your most highest and clearest form. Things that you know cannot actually move forward any longer, or there is absolutely no growth, and so you're just saying what you need to say and then moving on. They're just talking about the power of one here. There's a lot of beauty, like can you see all of these cards have references to flowers on them? Bloom, the beauty of the bloom, you know, like that kind of, that, you know, very abundant type of energy. The only card that doesn't is the peace. It looks more autumnal. It's almost like you are sitting, it doesn't matter what your environment is, or what you feel you have or feel you don't have, you are centered enough where you feel at peace. And so it doesn't matter what you're not getting or lacking or have or don't have. It's like you're in this alignment and you're in this energy of, you know, you're centered. This feels very centered energy. It feels like no matter what's going on around, you're in a centered energy here, as opposed to, because the energy has been a bit insane. The energy has been a little bit insane with expectations. This is about nourishing the self. This is about nourishing the self. Joy. It's about, there's such a yeah, there's like an expectation of what people should be doing. Hey, Kasana. You're painting flowers all over the place, are you? I mean, that's a good sign, hun, to be honest with you. That's a good sign. If you were painting other things, I'd be a bit concerned. But flowers are definitely looking good here. I mean, I'm seeing flowers all over this reed, so very spring-like energy. But there's definitely something that you're birthing here that will be ready for the spring. Do you see this? It's interesting on this card. It's got like a moon made out of cheese. It looks like it's made out of cheese. It's like this kind of illusionary energy that's this is total abundance, but it's someone's, that people are, the energy is being stepped out of. It's like you're not in this. This is not fair. This is, we've been in this weird fear-based kind of, well, I don't know, but the energy everywhere that I've been looking has been very fearful. The energies, it's kind of washed over everyone, if that makes any sense. The energies are almost being kind of cleansed. Just feels like there's been a cleanse. Wow, what did I say? Look at that abundant energy. And it's interesting, the springtime, because I was about to say it's very Empress-like energy, but can you see you've got faith? This is new, totally new energy. Faith, the worm moon. It's definitely birthing a new energy here. There's a total release here of old energy. I have no idea. There is a crazy energy around me right now. I'm wondering if it was real or not. I need a reading if you, hun. Yeah, just email Jale psychic@yahoo.com, and there's another email address in the description box. Jen, can you break those things down when you're posting them, because you're posting really bulky, no offense, but you're posting really bulky messages and it's kind of a lot to read. Just if you can break that down a little bit when you're posting it, thank you. Again, what have I been saying? The self-love. That is insane energy. It's basically, like, what did I say? The power of one. The power of one. It's what you're birthing of your own free will. It's not in accordance to anyone else, or there's a realization here. This is a realization. I mean, freaking heck, that was me waking up in that dream, and I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. This is a realization. Look at the flowers in her hair as well. She's very much in alignment with her environment. She's working with the environment, not against it. If you feel like something hasn't been given to you, there's probably a blessing. I'm going to be really honest with you. If you feel like something wasn't gifted to you, it means that the universe has more for you in store. And I would be assuming that that is an absolutely huge blessing, as opposed to anything that is not so great, if I'm totally honest with you. Right, let's do the good tarot here. Let's go with the good tarot. Let's have a look. Right, so Spirit, what is it that's coming in with this new moon? What's going to be, what we're going to be seeing here? What's going to be happening for the new moon in Leo, the 19th of August? Wow. Wow. Okay, brilliant. Getting rid of things that are no longer in alignment. Queen of Swords. This is 1000% me with my owl. Could be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy, but this this is, I've got to laugh. They make it so obvious. You're coming into alignment. You're coming into alignment. Mia, keep going with it, girl. This journey is not for the faint of heart. 5 of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so if you've been around drama, if you've been around energies that are so heavily ingrained into the 3-dimensional matrix that are just, they love it. They want to just immerse themselves in that dramatic kind of, you know, confusion, because it means they don't have to focus on what they really have to focus on. Lovely. You enjoy that energy. I'm going to be over here focusing on what I need to do, because it's like, it's a trap. It's a total trap. By not focusing on what you need to focus on, it means that if you don't get anything from it, then you're like, oh, I knew that would happen, but actually it's self-sabotaging. By you focusing on and removing things that no longer serve, this is you removing yourself from this drama, but what it's doing is putting you in alignment with your next stage, your next journey. 9 of Wands. This is Wounded Warrior. I'm just hearing she knows what she's going after and she'll gain it. Could be he. Doesn't have to be a she. Can be a he. Going after. I'm hearing destiny. Going after your destiny. And you're making sure you're in alignment. So it doesn't matter what journey or what fight you've had to kind of maneuver through, or what you've had to engage with and what you've had to move away from and what you've had to fight to get out of. You've got your eyes on the prize, and that's it. Because this is going to become more and more obvious the more you're in this energy. But it's that first kind of step. And I feel like, again, if you haven't already taken that, it's probably going to become fairly apparent. Now, it could be that you're going to listen to this and think, well, that's not my energy. Now, either you've already done it, or it's to come, or it's just not for you, the message. Magician. There is some insane manifestations. By you coming into alignment with this energy, there are some insane, you're manifesting some totally new timelines. Bottom of the deck, 6 of Cups, and it's energy. In fact, you're manifesting, if you're looking for, I mean, it's everything. It's you're bringing in new experiences and people that are going to help aid you into this next stage, because whatever this is that we've just, because this is the tail end now of, don't forget, we're about to close out this Lionsgate portal, and we're about to transition into, you know, obviously all these kind of planets going direct. Now, yeah, we've got Cupid going direct at the end of the month, but we've also got, there's another energy of a planet that I need to look into that is also going to be, from where I'm looking at, possibly going direct as well at the end of this month. And from what I'm looking at, it's to do with a fire-like energy, and it's that spark of that inspiration and that movement forward. So obviously it's very important that you're in alignment with that, and you've got the idea of what it is that Spirit have been trying to tell you, because you would have been getting signs about this. Your guides would have been screaming at you probably, because mine have. Yeah, and I'm like, thank God I had a dream about this, because I was like, what do you want me to do about this information? Now I get it. It's how to break this down into, if you know energies around you are not, let's say for example you've had experiences where you've given the energy or situations or people a chance to understand and to come into alignment, and they're still not getting it. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Just that there's nothing you can lead a horse to war, but you can't make it drink. That's it. You're not going to sit and kind of waste your time saying things when you can see the path ahead. If they can't get certain things now, it's just going to be, it's draining, because you can see different energy, and it's very difficult to explain to someone that's not at that, on that wavelength. It's just you're growing off path, you know. It's like you come to the end of the line. Yeah, and it doesn't matter how long the sort of connection's gone on for. You're just like, okay, bye. Like, now obviously you don't have to do it that way, but I mean, this is the thing, it served a purpose. It served a purpose, and you've said what you need to say, essentially. And if you don't understand what that is in reference to, then the message might not be for you. But because you've now, I mean, this is about boundaries as well. This is about boundaries as well, and making sure that you're honoring yourself. Because if you're having energies and influences around you that are so away from what you're viewing and how you're relating to life and how you're living, there's little to no kind of your viewpoints aren't even similar anymore, or it's like, what's the point? Where's this going? Is it just, because it's the thing, by the time you get into a conversation with a person, you're gonna have to sit and explain your point of view, and then explain this, and then explain, like, where's that going, you know? And especially if they're holding on to an old paradigm where they don't want to see anything, and they don't want to acknowledge anything. And it's like fear. They're rooted in fear, holding on to old because they're rooted in fear. What can you do? There's not really a lot you can do. Now, there's quite a few characters like this around at the moment. Some of it is family. Some of it is family, and I can't really go into specifics because I know for a fact they're not going to want me discussing this. So, it's fear-based, and sometimes it is worth speaking about, and sometimes it's just letting them get a handle on it and learning for themselves. If you know it's something that is involving you directly, then obviously the suggestion is to sort of openly talk your truth, speak your truth. But if it's, you know, something that is not directly affecting you and it's a family member that is not learning, then it's up to you. You do what you need to do, but chances are, if it's a lesson and they need to learn it, then if they're not willing to listen to you, then the universe, you've got to understand at this point in time, people are being shown all these truths, and mostly all of them don't want to see it, or don't want to acknowledge it, or project it onto others, or don't have a, because this is the thing, at the moment there's this kind of fog, and everyone's in this kind of weird fog where they don't really know what's going on. But the idea is to go within. This is always the idea, to go within and tune into you, and then you can kind of fit. It's like a massive dark night of the soul, but everyone's going through it at the same time. And then no matter where you're talking or going, people are in this kind of energy where they feel trapped, but it's an illusion. It's not real, because you've got this programming going on of, oh my goodness, we can't do this, and wash your hands, and don't go out, and put a mask on, and do this and do that. It's a classic symptom, and people are mentally feeling like they're hemmed in. And unfortunately, because of the fact that I've done a psychological operation before and I know how it works, I can recognize it, and luckily I can break myself out of it now. They even asked me, they're like, oh, we're doing a radio interview where we're going to be putting everyone back together, we're having a reunion. And I was like, absolutely, you have zero chance of getting me on that. Oh, are you sure? We'll give you some information in case you change your mind. I'm not going to change my mind. Trust me on this. There's absolutely no way I'm changing my mind. What, so we can have part 50 of the drama? No thanks. I'd rather just not bother, thanks. And in fact, I've turned down every TV show since then because no, just no, thanks. We've got to stick to our truth here. And this is about breaking out. We're breaking a barrier here. We're breaking into this unknown. And look at Uranus. Uranus is the unknown. It's going in retrograde. Now that's going to go direct. It's going to go at some point around January time. All these planets are going to start really going direct. So because I'm aware of how this stuff works, my suggestion is to look at all these things now and to look at where you want your life to go. You know, if you don't already know what that is, then, or where that's going, I suggest you start looking. And it's not about putting fear into everyone. It's just being prepared and making sure that you're living in your truth. We've got the Messenger of Wands here. This is the Knight of Wands. Sorry, not the Knight of Wands. The Messenger of Water, the Knight of Cups. This is being in that emotional center where we're not in avoidance. We're in alignment with our emotions. Our emotions match our reality. We're not in denial and pretending nothing's going on. We're in the emotions. Now, for everyone possibly around Cancerian season, so July, August time, where it felt extraordinarily difficult to kind of get a handle on your emotions, we're coming out of that now. And this new moon is birthing that energy from where I'm looking. It means a stable emotional balance from where I'm looking at. So if it's been very difficult for you to manage your emotions, then you're in luck, because I feel like this is, yeah, look, oh my goodness, these cards going everywhere. Right, hang on. Interesting. So we've got the Five of Cups here. This is disappointment. I just keep hearing there's a longing. There's a longing. It could be that you've invested something that you feel like you're not getting a return on, possibly. Maybe you've had patience up until now and then you're moving forward, because we've got Patience card in the reverse. We've also got the Six of Swords, which is about moving into calmer waters. And then we've got the Moon, which is the emotions here. Is your reality matching your expectations? If it's not, you need to come into alignment and make the decisions in order to get to a point where you're putting yourself first, because we've got the Wheel of Fortune in the center of the spread here. There's an energy of things moving forward, and if we're not putting ourselves at the forefront, this is about your truth, your emotional truth as well. If you feel like the situation around you, the people around you are not in alignment, and just listen to the guides. It just feels to me like your emotional center is becoming a lot more pronounced and evolved, and you're learning a lot, and it's moving you into a new direction. And then you're, because of the fact that you're acknowledging it, you're honoring it, rather than staying stuck to something because it's routine, or it's a status quo, or it's comfort, or it's a security element. You're not doing that. This energy is what I'm reading. This is the energy that I'm reading. You're honoring, again, the power of one. So it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. You don't need to stay into this status quo energy. It's like you're honoring you and your path, whatever that looks like. And then because of that, the wheel is turning. There's an energy of movement, because you're the one that's putting yourself first. And it's not out of selfishness. It's because you're just in alignment. It's just, again, it was part of the lesson. Because think about it, if you're in this pandemic kind of weird environment and everyone's in this panic stage, and then you're slowly slotting into that at some point, and then obviously you're coming, because of the fact that things are starting to move forward, you're then coming back into your own alignment. Because don't forget, So obviously when we go to school, there's certain parts of our lives where we're banded in with everyone else, aren't we? Like school time, we're banded in with everyone, and it's like we're losing our identity. We have to wear uniform, we have to look a certain way, we can't wear makeup, or we can't have, you know, what we're wearing completely kind of different from everyone else. We have to look the same, we have to be the same. Yes sir, yes miss, yes sir, you know, speak when spoken to like a damn robot. Look at what's just been going on. Everyone has been schooled again, but it's not a spiritual school. It was a uniform. It was like, wear a mask, do this, you know, don't question anything, because we're being remolded, because people are having an awakening. So what the energy is doing in this instance is saying, right now, forget that. What do you want? What does your soul want? Where is your emotional truth? Where is your alignment? Doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. Where is yours? And so it's then offering this new energy of to break away. And it's not because you're some kind of rookie, you know, like, I don't know, renegade that is, you know, running away from the pack. It's because you have to, you can't, it's like anything, as a collective, we're working together essentially, but we have to also do our own path as well. You can't just sort of stick to the crowd always and then that's it, great, we've evolved, because that's not going to work. But because we've been so banded together, because we're going into Virgo season, which is about the hermit, which is all about the truth, which is about walking the path, the power of one, walking that inner truth, understanding that inner truth. This is what it's preparing us for, because again, we've got Virgo season coming up. So if you've been banded together and so suddenly now you're coming out of that going, well, hang on, that's not my truth. You know, it suited me for that point, or this was the lesson I had to learn, but now it's asking you to look at your own needs and it's not in alignment, then you speak it, because that will close out the cycle and it will move you forward into this energy. But if you're not, and you're still in this programming of, well, I was put with this pack, and so we're going to sit there and rely on this pack to move into the next stage, because that's essentially what this is programming us to do. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm still famous at my school with the teachers, because they're just like, in fact, I think I'm still famous in this area because there was no teaching me. The guys were the ones that, you know, these guys were the teachers, not the school. The school was like, the school was a debate session, a full-on 7-year debate session, of which I was just kind of like, they'd give me punishment. They used to give me punishments to litter pick. So what I used to do is get a bin bag and tip the rubbish into the bin from the trash can. So the trash into the trash, so the trash can into the liner, and go, yeah, there you go, I've done it. Because I'm just like, that punishment, I remember this. That punishment was for someone. This is going to sound really bad now, but I'm just going to be honest. So I was me, and there was a few other people that were, let's just say, from a different background, and our names were a little bit unusual. And I used to get called the P word a lot. And if you don't know what that means, then I'm not going to say the word, because I hate that word, because I find it very derogatory. But let's say it's a 4-letter word and it begins with a P. This is going to sound so bad. So I remember this boy called me a P word, and instinctively, I didn't think, I just went, and I broke his nose. And of course, that first part didn't really get, you know, told to the teachers. It was just, she punched me in the nose. And so I got litter duty. And I was like, this is not fair. This is not fair. This is not fair. So I'm going to take the trash out of the bin, out of the trash can, and I'm going to put it in the bin liner, and I'm going to put it on the side and say, I've done it. But you're not catching me doing this punishment, because he's not getting punished for what he said to me. So why am I doing this? Anyway, that was the kind of stuff I used to do at school. I was a nightmare. Can you imagine? Can you imagine trying to deal with that? So, like I said, all my teachers knew me, and it wasn't good. Always spoke my truth, and not everyone at school appreciated that. However, I just happened to say what everyone was thinking, but didn't have the balls to speak. Exactly, Mia. And did you find this as well? Is that you used to have, or everyone was like, oh, you know, this, that, and the other, this, that, and the other. And then outside of school, when you see them outside of school, they're like, oh, you know, nice one, and all this other stuff. And you're like, why didn't you say that in the lesson? Do you know what I mean? It's like they're worried about what people think about them. I always used to get that as well. Or boys used to be like, oh, you know, what are you doing? All this other stuff. And then they'd wait till outside the classroom, and then they'll be like, hey, can I take you out? And I'm like, what? You've just called me like X, Y, and Z. I don't know. It was so weird. School was so weird. School was so weird. But yeah, I used to get into a lot of trouble. I was on Gold Report for about 7 years. And then because I used to see, this is what my guides are all laughing, because they know what I'm like. I feel like this was impossible for me to be molded, because the more they tried to mold me, the more I was rebelled, right? So that Gold Report was, you had to take it home to your parents and get them to sign it, to acknowledge. And it was like every lesson they'd write about what you were doing. And all mine said was uncouth, which means rude. Uncouth, doesn't listen, doesn't acknowledge the teachers, thinks that she knows everything. So they used to expect me to go and take the report back. I don't know why I'm laughing. This was ridiculous. It was like a fight. It was a power struggle for like 7 years. Alexandra, is that you as well? Always walked to the beat of my own drum. Approval wasn't needed. Exactly. Class clown, doesn't listen to any instructions. Yeah, but this is the thing. I didn't ever used to show my mum didn't have a clue about this Gold Report for 7 years. I forged her signature. until she went to parents' evening, and they were like, oh, Jale settled down a little bit more since she was on report. And my mum's like, what are you talking what are you talking about? Oh Lord, can you imagine? It was just a night, the whole thing. My teachers were just like, but then do you know what, this is, I've got to tell you this. So yeah, it was I didn't care. And this is, at one point the whole school was like, she's disrupting the classes. She doesn't do anything. And you know, I remember my biology lesson at one point where they told me to get out of the class. So I just got out of the class and walked around the back where there was a school field and windows, and I'd be doing all this in the background. Right, and then things went really bad from that point on, because then it got to the point where people got really upset with me, and then there was a lot of fighting going on. It turned physical at that point. So yeah, so it wasn't so funny after that. But I thought at one point I was going to have to get a police escort home for my GCSE exams. But you know, the point was made. Anyway, 10 of Swords, something's ending here. Can you imagine what my mum had to go through as well? Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't, that was it. I wasn't getting told. And this was started at age 5. Can you imagine? That nightmare. Anyway, 10 of Swords. Something's ending here. 8 of Cups, walking away from things that don't serve you emotionally. Closing out chapters. Investing in you. Investing in things that can materialize in the physical. I'm still laughing about that. I tell you what, that was some right old laughs. That was. You've set something free here. You've released something. It's an old chapter that you've released. There's something new that's on its way. Something's doubled down. You've invested in something that is, by you releasing this and something new coming to you, but whatever else is coming, because it's not just one thing, there's more than one. Your expectations are one thing, but there's going to be something totally different coming in as well. It's like a cleanup operation. It's like a cleanup operation, because it's like all the old unwanted timelines of things that were playing in the background. I don't know why I want to say that as well. Something's playing in the background, possibly subconsciously, possibly via ancestral patterns. That's being cleared away. So whatever, just pay attention for what comes up over the next couple of days. If you, I don't know why I want to say this, but if you've got an issue with speaking your truth, that's going to be really relevant, because communication could really come into it. Or if you feel like you overtly speak, you're very overt, you're very used to speaking your truth, and it usually comes with disapproval. Don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you. Maybe there's again, this is shadow elements that's being reflected here, but there's something playing in the background. It's like a cleanup operation. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got the world. So there's some huge cycles here that are closing out. It's the need of approval. This is not about a need of approval of something, or an energy, a body, a party, a group of people. That do you want? This is the thing. You've got to look. It's like, you know, when people sort of offer advice, you sort of look and you think, okay, would I accept advice from you? You know, it's different energy bodies that are closing down, releasing old cycles and energies that are playing in the background that have possibly reappeared in your life and are patterns of behavior that had yet to be closed out. These are the things that are closing down. There's definitely old. Do you remember before when I said there's a choice, there's a kind of fork in the road here? These old timelines are closing out. So it's important to, if you haven't already done it, to kind of make some kind of action. And again, if you don't resonate with that, then this message is not for you. But there's definitely old timelines closing out here. And in fact, my guides are correcting me. They're saying very, very old timelines closing out. And probably the need of approval for people that maybe aren't necessarily in alignment with you is going out the window. Kasana, yeah. Yeah. The fog is clearing a little bit. It's kind of, Eight of Cups, walking away from things that no longer serve emotionally. It's like hanging on to something that is not on solid ground. People are holding on to things that have no security or strength or anything. That's what's being removed. And it's becoming obvious as well. It's like, whoa, was that what it looked like before? Oh, Gigi, 100%. And it's like all the things that you were kind of reliant upon or thought that you wanted or needed, it's like that's all completely being moved away. And, you know, this new path, this new energy is kind of apparent and being offered. But I'll tell you what, it's the most free-flowing energy that we've had for a while, from my perspective anyway. Because before, it's like you're looking at it and you're like, is this a joke? You know, or you're sort of questioning it. But it feels like, I think it's for those people that have made these decisions that is kind of it feels like you're being freed up a little bit. It feels like there's they just keep talking about gateway. I mean, obviously we've had the Lion's Gate, so it could be that that's what we've walked through, and so we've released a lot from it. But let's have a look what they're, look. Hierophant, this is higher experiences, high love, high connections, leveling up, structure. It's about rewriting structure that is no longer in alignment with us and cutting out anything that doesn't serve. Messenger of air, releasing the need for approval. I keep hearing that. Someone needs to hear that. Releasing the need for approval. I keep hearing that again and again and again. I don't know why I want to say this, but divine travel. Divine travel. Don't know why I want to say that, but I do. And I'm seeing a ladybird for some reason. The spotlight is on. It's like before there was about 15 different doorways, and it was like, I'm not sure what I'm doing. And you kind of come to this edge, and it's like you're just seeing a spotlight on one path, and you're like, oh, okay, that was easy, you know. Again, cool. Spirit are really, I'll be honest with you, this feels like we've been worked on in our sleep. Now I'm absolutely 99.9% sure that they've been working on us in our sleep. So the more confused we were, the more they were working with us upstairs. Because don't forget, I've been sleeping like ridiculously long hours for like, what, the last week? It's like they're trying to fast forward. I don't know, they're trying to move me into something. There's a portal that's closing. That's why. There's a portal here that's closing. Whatever, I'll be really honest with you, this is like timelines closing down here all over the place. I mean, at times I felt like I was losing my mind and going crazy with some of the signs that came up my way. Can't really explain, made sense. This is the other thing. They do love to see this. I'll be really honest with you. It's when they give you the sign for the opposite and you're like, come on, come on. Because they're trying to test you, because it's like the signs get more and more involved as well. And you're like, it's like there's, because this is the other thing, I've got to tell you this. So the temptation card came up in this deck, and because all these other cards came out, I missed it, and I put it back in the deck, but it's just popped in my head, temptation. So there's all these like little illusionary energies, like, oh, look, do you want this? And so everyone's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go on to this. And then at the last minute, Spirit have gone, yeah, but you're not meant to be doing that. And then I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Why did I assume that was the right? It's like this temptation-y energy. It's like they're trying to, you're being sort of led off path. Yeah, I mean, that's how I felt every day for like the last week, where my body was just like, yeah, you know. Yeah, so if you're sleeping a lot, it's never ending, isn't it, with these freaking lessons? I mean, I'm smiling because you're definitely gonna not feel like. You've got to remember, after a whole world has gone into lockdown, and we've had what, 5 and 6 planets in retrograde for like 5-6 months on and off. Suddenly, this is now coming to a point where these planets are then going direct. Think about that energetically, what that means. So our bodies are being prepared, and the more they're working on your body, the more, this is the calm before the storm. And I'm smiling because this is the energy I love. I mean, this is just an old paradigm that's closing out, is all. This is the thing. Anyone that's got scorpionic energy is used to death and rebirth. In fact, Scorpios, any people that have got a lot of Scorpio in their chart are usually very, very, very well trained in the sort of death and rebirth cycles. It's in fact their kind of super strength, you know, it's their super skill. Yeah, it's because that you're being topped up in your sleep state, and then you're waking up and the old paradigm is still here. So they're preparing us. But yeah, we're going through this transition, and we're going to be going through this for a while. Yeah, the sweat. Yeah. I had some absolutely cracking dream last night. That wasn't the airplane one wasn't the only one. It was just, sometimes I have to laugh because I'm like, guys, come on. They're like, we're just making sure that you get the idea. And I'm like, they're just the most obvious dreams. And it's like, just tell me, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of very quick movements, and you're going to be, that you're being brought into alignment. I mean, you're being brought into alignment. Bottom of the deck call, it's like your sat nav system is being upgraded. You know, if you're an Apple phone, your iOS is getting upgraded into something a little bit higher than what it's used to. So these two cards were also flipped over in the deck. Queen of Swords, Ten of Swords. There's a lot of endings here. Cutting out things that don't serve. Cutting out everything that doesn't serve. I mean, my sister, I spoke to my sister today. Her partner's granddad just passed away. You know, there's lots of that energy about at the moment, unfortunately. Yeah, there's more to come. It's like, if you're already seeing that now, there's more to come with this, and it's kind of getting us used to it, if that makes any sense. It's to get us in alignment with what we're can't even talk. It's to get us into an alignment with what we're next going to be doing. Magician reversed with Patience reversed. So you're not letting the circumstances dictate to you where you're in alignment with. For example, if your energetic body is telling you to sleep more, then obviously you honor that, but don't kind of rush out of it. I'll be real honest with you. I can already, like, I had 12 hours sleep last night. I'm still tired. I'm like, I need to sleep. And that's been the same for the last week, 12 hours sleep. Falling asleep at like 10 p.m, even earlier sometimes, where I'm like, in fact, I'm awake and I'm snoring. That's how bad. That's so attractive. So I wonder where Arby is. Maybe he can pull me up on the snoring as well. Maybe I'll give him that as ammunition next time he comes in. But he won't be able to, because he's been blocked on the channel. So yeah, very attractive stuff, The Star, this is our healing. Do you remember, tell you what, I don't want to wish away the rest of this year, but January onwards is going to be insane. There's going to be all kinds of fresh energy. Like, you think this is fresh, it's because we haven't had any fresh energy. You wait till January, it's going to be like a freaking ball. What else do we need to be aware of, guys? So this is Gemini energy. This is the master manifestation energy. Can you see he's got the sun in his it looks like the sun anyway. I don't know what that says. Why does that look like the sun and the moon together? They just keep talking about a portal. This is in the dream state. This is in the dream state. So don't forget, we've got the sun and the moon in Leo at the moment, which is about birthing new things. Bottom of the deck is the High Priestess. So we've got a match here. The High Priestess and the Magician. This is it's like an upgrade in consciousness. If you are getting instincts to where you want to be kind of moving into, in terms of with your life path, etc., clearly define it, because it's like whatever you're doing in your day-to-day life, you're like, oh, I'm going to go and see this person in January, I'm going to plan this, I'm going to do that. You're going to sleep and then you're actually living it. It's like this weird manifestation energy. This is a manifestation of the soul mission, that people are coming into alignment here that it's number 1 and number 2. This is insane. So do you know, like Genesis, where they were talking about Lilith was the first female that was birthed, and then because she didn't surrender to the masculine, she was like, I'm off. And then that was it. That was the last you ever heard of Lilith. And then you had Adam and Eve. You had Eve, who was sort of subservient. I mean, yeah. I mean, is that not obvious though? I don't know. I don't know if I need to keep saying everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. I mean, I feel like that's kind of obvious. I'm not getting that masculine and feminine coming. I mean, I'm getting us as individuals, our masculine and feminine coming into alignment, but I feel like it's bigger than that, if I'm totally honest with you. This is about a birthing of a totally new energy. Like I said, this is like Genesis. It's like you're the power of one. It's like, it doesn't involve a man or a woman. It's that you in your most rawest form that is evolving into something else. That's to expect that secondary part. I mean, if that hasn't happened at the moment, if you're not in that energy at the moment, then it probably won't happen until, like I said before, the other readings. It's like if this is not happening around Lionsgate, then you're probably not going to be happening for possibly around the beginning part of next year. But there's more to it than that. It's not just about a man and a woman coming together and there you go. This is about a birth of a new evolution of consciousness. It's not, then she met him and then they went on a date, and then it's not that. It's bigger than that. This is about you and your thought forms and what you're manifesting. And it's like when you were birthed, you were given a raw form that is being rebirthed over and over and over again. But there's like this additional energy here that's been given, that this energy that we're in at the moment is triggering this evolution that's going to lead you into this new path, if that makes any sense. The masculine and the feminine, if you remember and watch my 2020 predictions, I said I talked about August time for that to come into alignment. So after August, if it's not, then it probably won't be for a good few months. Put it this way, if you're still focusing on the masculine and feminine coming to alignment, this next stage is going to go over your head 100%. If you're still focusing on when the masculine and the feminine are going to come into alignment, then I would suggest looking into that, because this next energy is not that energy. It's not that at all. If it hasn't already happened, it's not that energy. So that's not the information I'm getting. And if maybe your guides are saying something different to you, I don't know, but the information I'm getting here, bottom of the deck, an Ace of Wands. So this is brand new creative sparks. This is a creative energy here, propelling you on. That this is your guide. This is your guide. This is your guide with you, or you with your guide. Ace of Wands. Where do you want to take this? This is the magical mystery tour. Where do you want to go? This is the energy I'm reading right now. Now, again, if your guides are telling you something different, then you take that. But this is what the information that I'm getting. But this is like the magical mystery tour. 8 of Wands. Movement. Can you see there? I mean, look, we're in this totally different environment. We've been in the water. We've been here then anywhere. This looks more like an Asian energy here, more Chinese, with the bamboos in the background. In fact, it could be the bamboo forest in Japan. But It's a totally different environment. This is set to take you into a totally different energy. This is not the old way. Don't forget, there's a timeline that's just closed. If you're still focusing on when's the masculine coming in, I don't know what to say to you. Like, you know, it's like yeah. It's not the thing that the God. It's totally not the focus. If I'm being totally honest with you, there's this kind of unlocking situation going on that I'm seeing everywhere. I'm seeing it with absolutely everyone. I'm just everyone I'm speaking to. I'm like, wow, you've got this like really insane little kind of energy that's like just next to you. Are you aware of it? And then they're like, no. And then they're talking about what, you know, I don't know, the shopping prices at Asda or the shopping prices at Walmart. And I'm like, so again, temptation. What is it you're being? Don't forget. Let's keep our eyes on the ball here. What is the temptation being offered? What is this path or this illusionary energy that you're being offered? And what is the real energy that you're heading towards? This moon is kind of showing you or highlighting this. It's kind of highlighting exactly what you ideally should be looking at. So if you're still focusing on a masculine, this is not for you. This is not for you. This reading is not for you. 1,000,000%. Or if you're focusing on a feminine or a masculine, this right now is not for you. Now, if you're looking at closing out a pattern of behavior with a masculine or feminine, then this reading is for you. But again, it's temptation. Don't forget, I mentioned about the card where this temptation card came out, and the spirit were talking about spotlight being on a new door. But it's up to you. You know, you do what you feel is relevant for you. I'm glad it resonates, Kasana. It means, I mean, keep following your instincts. But the big picture isn't, so the big picture isn't you coming into alignment with a man or a woman. The big picture is you coming into union with the self. That is the big picture. The end of... Six of Swords, move on from it. Bottom of the deck, move on. Move on. Move on. The ship sailed. The ship has sailed. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. This is about reinvesting in something that is going to sort of propel you into where you're meant to be going. And it's not anything that's been written on paper about patriarchy, matriarchy, anything of that energy. It's Queen of Cups. This is the Queen of Cups here, who is following her own intuition. She is listening to her guides. She is tuning to within and understanding that not everything is going to be laid out and sort of point A to point B to point C, but she's following her own energy and it's leading her to where she needs to go. This is a divine feminine masculine energy that is very, very comfortable following their intuition and is balanced emotionally, that she's in alignment with her emotions. This is an alignment with emotions. With the moon here, this is about following intuition, following the moon, following the intuition, following the feminine energy, following the masculine energy, following your own inner guidance system, the GPS system, the new downloads, following that to come to alignment with you. So I don't know what there's a lot of lots of terminology that gets banded around the spiritual community. Oh, it's about removing the patriarchy. It's about removing the matriarchy. Let's move away from these buzzwords. I really can't bear that kind of energy. This is not about a buzzword. This is about our lives, and you need to tap in. It's more than that. We can all sit and read a book and be like, you know, belting off all these words that are given or quotes. That's easy. But this is about putting it into action and looking past this lovely little fuzzy picture that people post. And, you know, this is more than that. It's bigger than that. This is dream state. Can you see the moon? And she's got her eyes closed. You're getting downloads in your sleep. If you're, I mean, look, I'll be really honest with you. For those that are affected by their sleep and having a lot more sleep than usual, are you getting a lot of intense dreams and downloads and waking up going, oh my goodness? And it's like your reality shifted. If you haven't had that yet, I would just keep an open mind, because it's like they're drip feeding us information in our sleep. And so my job at the moment is to explain certain things, and hopefully it reminds you of these energies that you're getting with your own guides and your own sleep. It's not for me to quote out of books saying buzzwords, you know. Otherwise I'll just read a book to the live stream, you know. It's not that. So like I said, if you've been having dreams, you probably will be having an acknowledgement of, there, look, 4 of Cups in the reverse. This is about not accepting anything less. Okay, so it's acknowledging, yeah, 4 of Cups in the reverse. It's about not acknowledging the falsehood of this. It's about acknowledging your own sort of inner truth and your pathway that you're going into, and closing doors of things that don't serve, because they're distractions usually. Yeah, look. Yeah. I mean, it kind of isn't real. That's essentially what's going on. But it's like this is all disintegrating. You know, it's so much bigger than just like, we're being rebuilt from the ground up, and the people that are already in alignment with the other halves are usually because they're traveling into this next stage, and they're in alignment and it's all ready to go and all this other stuff. There's a definite collective energy here of people that are starseeds, light workers, who have had major upgrades, who there's other things that they're having to focus on, and it's not just love, you know. It's like, that's because a lot of my astrological readings are about love. I'm not going to sit and, unless I get the information from the guides, and then spout out 100% love readings, because that's just, I feel like that's a little bit unhealthy. See, I'll be really honest with you. I can read people immediately usually, and how do I want to put this? It's this last couple of months, there was a large kind of training ground. Okay, and at this point in time, people are reviewing and understanding what was gained, what was lost, what their next point of call will be, what it is they want to focus on. There's a large majority that still don't really understand what that was, and so the perception is very kind of warped a little bit. And when that's going on in their own environment, it's very difficult for them to navigate with other people. And obviously, if you're more aware of it, then you'll spot that a lot easier. But what the spirit is saying is that if this is having an effect on you where the energy is totally misaligned with yours, then don't feel like that's something you have to kind of be around. Don't hold on to it just because you think, oh, well, it's just a person or whatever. They want you to stand in your own energy, because you're more likely to have a purification in that sense. If you're banded around 15 other people that don't want to recognize anything and they just want to hook up with some guy or woman because it makes them feel safer to have someone around them, that's not the energy right here. This is about empowerment, not sort of I'm scared of being alone and I'm just going to kind of randomly grab someone. Like, that's not it. That's you know, we've moved past that point, hopefully, you know. This is about purification and an upgrade, and it's about people that have got large ability, you guys, that are stepping into your power. And you know, it's like, you know, you're in this training area, and it's like they're trying to keep you in this energy so that you're in this prized position to formulate and gain what it is you need to gain before you're off and you're doing soul mission or you're continuing soul mission, so that you're not being sucked into any old crap and then getting 2 years down the line thinking, shit, I've come off path. And then this is about, because we've got, don't forget, this is like next 3 years or so where starseeds, light workers, this is us in mission. This is it. So everyone that's sat there going, I don't know what I'm here to do, and it's like, you know, you've had a calling. This is we're in it. And if you're not already doing it, this is what you're being prepared for. So if your, you know, partnership or whoever it is not in at the moment, it doesn't mean it's never going to be. It just means this is not the time, because there's other things you need to be focusing on, you know. And this is the thing, soul contracts, usually you would have acknowledged that you did this X, Y, Z alone, or because there was something you needed to gain from it or learn from it, you know. To be honest with you, usually if you're not giving it at this point, it's because there's a blessing behind it. I mean, Jen, I'm not going to be on it. I'm going to be real honest with you. We're into 122 minutes now, so I'm not going to get more into this because I feel like we're going to be in the next 5 hours otherwise. I appreciate your questions, but if you can maybe stop asking those kind of questions, because you're moderator. We're trying to wrap the stream up now, if that's okay. So I'm going to pull one more card. As I say, I can't be on stream for another 3 hours, and it's that you're asking questions that are not, you know, they're kind of long answers. So I have to close the stream down. If you can maybe not kind of keep asking those kind of questions, I'd really appreciate that. I mean, if you want to, you know, do your own live stream and ask all these questions, by all means, but I've got, you know, work to do as well after this. So it's not really something that my guys want me to go into at the moment, because we're already at 1 hour and 22 minutes. So we've got purity and wonders. So this is, again, a purification. Again, I'm going to probably keep repeating myself here, but this is about a purification. And again, if you're concentrating on all the wrong things, they're going to be moving you into things that are more in alignment with you. And then again, wonders. You're waiting for some crazy power. You've already got it, girl. You've already got it. You don't need to wait for it. That's the illusionary energy. That's the thing that you think is something that you need to be waited for. Wonders. This is what's on its way. This is what's already here. You're being streamlined, essentially. For success. There you go. Okay, guys, so this was your reading for today. Thank you so much for your likes, your shares, your subscriptions. I really appreciate that. So we're going to be posting Aquarius's reading later on today on the channel. And yeah, so as I say, we're live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. British Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Twitch Saturdays, 11 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening wherever you are. Until next time. Take care. Bye-bye.